If you've ever run Facebook ads and just felt like you're just burning cash with no real results, well, this is the video for you. I've spent over 10 years running ads for service-based businesses. And in this video, I'm giving you my top lessons and mistakes to avoid, but also what actually works in 2025. But on top of all of that, I'm gonna do it in under 15 minutes. And look, if this is a bad time and you're planning to click off this video, save it for later. This is something you need to take complete notes on because I'm not just giving you the basic fundamentals that you can find absolutely anywhere. I'm giving you the actual secret sauce that's helped my clients scale from 6 to 7 figures. To continue on this video, I expect you to already have a Facebook Ads Manager account with campaigns running or have tried to run Facebook ads in the past. Okay, let's get straight into the video. Let's start with targeting. The biggest mistake I see even from experienced business owners is going too broad with their location targeting. You don't need to target all of the country if your service is only for your local city. Business owners are also too broad when it comes to what their audience is interested in. If your target audience is simple enough and you can clearly understand their interests, stay away from using things like Facebook's Advantage Plus features. However, if you are not able to find a clear audience and you will let Facebook have full control, you can test out the Advantage Plus audience feature. But I would not recommend it if you want to actually scale your campaigns over time. You should try using a broad audience instead under original audience options to test this first. Let me jump in quickly into the Ads Manager and show you what I mean. All right, so you can see now I've just jumped into the ad set level of the campaign. Basically, what I've got set up in this campaign right now is as an Advantage Plus audience, but we want to change this so we can take full control. So when you scroll down, you'll notice that there's switch to original audience options. You want to click that little button there, use original audience, and then you're done. Now you can start to customize your audience, especially with the interests that you only want to target first. And the reason I say this is because it works very well when we start getting to the testing phase. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, look, if you're not sure about interests for your audience, you can simply use an AI tool like Gemini or ChatGPT to ask a simple prompt about your audience and what their interests are. And then you can just cross-check those with the Facebook audience interests to see which audiences line up. Next, let's talk about your offer and creative. You can have the flashiest video in the world, but if your offer sucks, you won't get conversions. Focus on crafting an irresistible offer before worrying about how pretty your ad looks. What makes an offer irresistible for service businesses? The transformation you provide needs to be crystal clear. What is the solution you provide? And then package it into a 3-step process. You need to show the return on investment, the end result, so that it just feels like a no-brainer investment. The first thing people ask when they see your ad isn't, does this look nice? It's actually, what's in it for me? Answer that question immediately and your conversion rate will skyrocket. And remember, your conversion rate is one of the 4 key metrics that determines your success. If everything else is perfect, but your offer doesn't convert on your website, the whole system breaks down. Next, you need to test like a scientist. One headline, one image, and one audience won't tell you the whole story. Split testing is everything. Here's exactly how to think about testing. A/B test headlines, hooks, and creative formats, and always isolate variables. Don't change everything at once. Launch new creative in fresh ad sets, not existing ones. This is something I see all the time. People throw new creatives into old ad sets. Just don't do that. Every time you launch a new batch of creative, put it in a brand new ad set. Why? Because Facebook's algorithm has already decided who to show your old ads to. New creative needs a fresh algorithm learning period. For service-based businesses, I find running between 3 to 5 creatives per ad set is best for the initial testing. Once you find an ad and audience that performs well over 2 to 4 weeks, you can begin splitting this out into winning bucket campaigns. Let me show you what I mean here. All right, let's move over to pen and pad now. I'm just going to show you a really simple campaign structure and setup that you can use for scaling. So let's not make this any more difficult than it needs to be. Let's have one campaign that's going to be testing. You're going to have one campaign that's your winning ads. Okay. In this testing campaign, you're going to have 2 ad sets to begin with. Okay. And remember, ad sets is where you're going to have your audiences and your interest stack set up. And then from that, I would create a minimum of 2 to 3 creatives of your ads. Okay. So it's very simple. You've really got 6 ads that you're testing across two different ad sets and interests. Okay, you're gonna have your interests and audiences in there. Now, once you find something that's winning in here, all you need to do is bring over the winning ad sets into here, but only keep the creative that's winning. And what I would say here is, usually it's gonna be just one ad creative that's gonna work the best. And you've got to allow Facebook's machine learning to do this for you. So then what you can do is bring that over, and an important step here is also to make sure that you copy over the comments. There's a little option at the bottom that you'll be able to tick, and you can bring over your comments and shares and etc. to keep the authority for that ad. And then what you want to do is you want to scale up that winning ad campaign, right? You want to scale up that actual ad that's winning. And you might go, well, let's start even with $50 per day, just only on that ad. Now, there's a few little technical terms here which can be used around campaign budget optimization, which I'll just jump into very quickly right now. But say you have a $100 budget that you want to split across these two ad sets. Allow CBO to actually distribute that across to you and do the testing. Allow the machine learning to do it. So say, for example, you might find that this winning ad out of the $100, let's just say for that month to keep it simple, $90 went towards that one ad, and there will be a clear winner. You will see a clear winner. Then you want to use that winning ad over here and not use campaign budget optimization. You want to actually just use ad set budget optimization. So basically in Facebook, you just turn off that swipe there, the CBO, and then you can actually just allow it to run that winning campaign towards that budget. And that's it. So then you can actually start to scale up that winning ad. Next, you need to think about data over emotion. Don't kill an ad after one bad day. Look at the trends. Are your leads good quality? What's your cost per lead over 7 days? Then let that number tell you what's actually working. There are 4 metrics that control everything in your account. CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. There's CPC, cost per click, CTR, which is click-through rate, and then CVR, which is your conversion rate. These 4 metrics have massive impacts on each other. If your CPMs are high, you need better CTR. If your CTR is low, your creative isn't resonating or your targeting is off. This will allow you to find the bottleneck in the campaign and adjust based on these indicators. All right, so let's jump straight into the Ads Manager account. And what I'm going to show you here is pretty straightforward, but some people just don't know how to check the performance in clicks. So I want to make sure that you've got exactly the information you need, because you need to find the bottleneck if your campaigns aren't working properly. So once you're inside the campaign level, head over to your columns and then just make sure you've got performance and clicks turned on. And then all you need to do is scroll across to the right and you can start to see these figures that I was talking about. So here you've got your clicks, your CTR, then you've got also, if you scroll back a little bit further, you'll have your conversions as well. And you can move these things around as well, so it makes it easy for you to see, so cost per result. Now, if you wanted to jump into the actual ad set level and the ads, you'll be able to look at which ones are performing best with those same metrics. All right, let's talk about retargeting. Most service providers forget the fortune is in the follow-up. Retargeting people who visit your page, engage with your content, or watch 75% of your video. For service businesses, your retargeting strategy should be set up custom audiences for site visitors, engagement, and video views. Retarget with testimonials, case studies, or direct CTAs, and use different messages for different engagement levels. And look, this is entirely dependent on your budget. If you're working with a small budget of say less than $3,000 a month, you may just want to run direct response ads to see what creative works best upfront. If you have more than $3,000 per month, you can start to build a retargeting flow to your audience. The best thing about retargeting your audience is it's significantly cheaper. When you look at audience segments in your account, you'll see that existing customers and engaged audiences typically have almost double the conversions of your cold traffic. So don't just chase new customers. Nurture the people who've already shown interest. They're your lowest hanging fruit. All right, moving on. Let's think long-term. Facebook ads are not a magic button. Think of it as a system that builds momentum over time. The more data you feed to it, the smarter it gets. Most people quit right before things start working, and here's why. The first 2 to 4 weeks are learning periods where results are inconsistent. Month 2 is where you start finding winning combinations. And then month 3 is when the scaling becomes possible. The Facebook algorithm needs consistent data to optimize. If you keep stopping and starting campaigns, you're essentially resetting the learning phase just over and over and over again. Give campaigns at least 50 conversions before making major decisions like turning it off. That's the minimum amount of data Facebook needs to start optimizing effectively. If you start to see your cost per lead is skyrocketing before you even get close to the 50 leads, it's time to review your copy and ad assets, because Facebook won't always target the right audience the first time, and you most probably will not have created the best assets for your ad the first time either. Look, a majority of reasons for your ads to fail is because of ad copy or the creative. Now, I want to share some bonus pro tips. These are the advanced tactics that most people miss but can make a huge difference. First, use video wherever you can, even if it's just a voiceover on top of some images. Videos get more engagement that tells Facebook who's actually interested in what you're offering. And this is especially helpful when you're running retargeting campaigns for service-based businesses. Second, make sure you speak to a pain point in the first 10 seconds of your video. You've got a tiny window to grab somebody's attention before they start to scroll. So make those first few seconds actually count. When you're putting a message together, think in 3 parts: your intro, your core message, and your hook. They don't always have to come in that exact order, but you need all 3 to keep people engaged. All right, let me give you an example. Hey, I'm Cam Heisman from Campaigns You Love. We act as the marketing department that plugs straight into your business, helping you generate more leads and increase your revenue without the stress of doing it all yourself. So here you can see the intro, your core message, and then the hook. So don't just track leads, track book calls and actual conversions. Getting names and emails is great, but we want to know who's really serious. So make sure you're tracking the right events and feeding that data back into Facebook. Give the machine learning a chance to target the right audience for you. Fourth, mix up your ad formats. Most people only build one version of their ad, but that also limits your reach. You need different assets for different placements. A square version for your feed, a full screen vertical for stories, and then a vertical video for reels. If you're only using one format, you're leaving reach and performance on the table. If this video saved you weeks of trial and error for your service-based business, do me a favor, like the video, hit subscribe, and drop a comment with what you're testing next. If you want a custom ad strategy built for your business, there's a link below to work with me directly. Remember, none of these optimizations will double your results overnight, but stacked together, they create a system that can transform your Facebook ads from money pits to profit machines. This is exactly how I've helped service businesses go from struggling to get leads to having more clients than they can actually handle. And you can do it too. I'm Cam Heisman, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.